Chapter 1. They needed a villain. So I stayed silent. I used to believe silence could protect people. I believed if I loved someone enough, I could carry the weight for both of us. It's fine, I told her that night, forcing a smile. People misunderstand sometimes. She didn't answer. She just nodded, like my words were convenient, not comforting. We were sitting across from each other, coffee growing cold, and I could already feel the distance forming. I wanted to ask why she had been avoiding my calls, why her stories never matched, but I swallowed it. Silence felt safer than the truth. At least, that's what I told myself. Later that week, I heard my name spoken in a tone I didn't recognize. "He's changed," someone said. "He's controlling now." I froze outside the room, my hand still on the door. She was there. I knew her voice anywhere. She didn't defend me. She sighed instead and said, "I don't want to talk badly about him." That was all it took. Everyone filled the gaps for her. When I walked in, the conversation died. She looked at me like I was a stranger, like I had interrupted something private. "We were just talking," she said softly. I nodded, pretending not to feel the crack spreading in my chest. That was when he first stepped in. "You okay?" he asked her, not even looking at me. His voice was confident, protective. She smiled at him, a small relieved smile I hadn't seen in weeks. "I'm fine," she said, but she moved closer to him anyway. I felt invisible, like I was already written out of the story. "You don't have to deal with this alone," he added, finally glancing my way. There was judgment in his eyes, sharp and inert. I wanted to speak, to ask what this meant, but the room was already against me. I tried to talk to her that night. "Did I do something wrong?" I asked quietly. She laughed, light and tired. "Why do you always make things dramatic?" she said. "No one is attacking you." Her words were smooth, practiced. I felt stupid for even asking. "People just worry about me." She continued, "You don't have to take it personally." I watched her scroll through her phone while I spoke, my reflection faint on the dark screen. That was the moment I realized my feelings were inconvenient. They didn't fit the version of events she preferred. The rumors grew without my help. I became cold. I became jealous. I became unstable. Every label landed easily because I wasn't there to fight it. My best friend pulled me aside one afternoon. "You should say something," he warned. "This doesn't look good." I shook my head. "If I explain, I'll hurt her," I said. "She doesn't deserve that." He stared at me like I was lying to myself. Maybe I was. Maybe I thought suffering quietly made me noble. In truth, it just made me useful. He grew louder as I grew quieter. "I won't let anyone hurt her," he announced once, clearly meaning me. People nodded, approving his loyalty. She stood behind him, eyes down, playing the victim perfectly. I could have ended it then. I had messages. I had proof. Instead, I stayed still. I told myself truth didn't need defending. I told myself things would settle. Deep down, though, I felt something darker waking up, something tired of being reasonable. That night, alone in my room, I finally admitted it. They didn't want the truth. They wanted a villain. Someone had to carry the blame so the story made sense. I looked at my phone, at everything I had kept quiet to protect her. My hands were shaking, but my mind was clear. If silence had turned me into the enemy, then speaking would make me worse. I lay back and closed my eyes, making a quiet decision. If they needed a villain, I would choose when to become one. If you believe love deserves another chance, like, subscribe, and stay for the next story that might just heal you too. Chapter 2. The lies they called protection. By the time I realized silence was no longer neutral, it was already being used against me. "You should apologize," my sister said over the phone. Her voice was careful, like she was talking to someone unstable. "Not because you did something wrong, but because people are uncomfortable." "Uncomfortable with what?" I asked. "With you," she said, then quickly added, "I just mean, The situation. The situation. That was the word everyone loved. It made everything sound mutual, accidental. Like this wasn't a slow execution of my name. I hung up and stared at the wall. I replayed every conversation, every moment where I could have spoken louder. Each time, I saw her face fragile, disappointed, wounded by things I supposedly did. I remembered how she used to say, "I feel safe with you." Now safety was the excuse they used to push me out. The first time I confronted her, she acted surprised. "Why are people saying I hurt you?" I asked. She blinked at me. "I never said that." "But they're saying it," I pressed. "They're saying I scared you." She crossed her arms. "I can't control what people think. You can control what you say," I replied. Her eyes hardened for half a second before she masked it with sadness. "So now you're blaming me." That was the trap. Every question became an attack. Every defense became proof of guilt. He called me the next day. "I think we should talk," he said, calm, mature, like a man cleaning up a mess I caused. "I agree," I said. "Let's clear things up." We met in public. Of course, witnesses mattered now. He leaned back in his chair, arms open, the posture of someone reasonable. "She's been through a lot," he began. "So have I," I said. He smiled thinly. "See, that's what I mean. You always bring it back to you." I clenched my jaw. "I just want the truth out." "The truth," he repeated, "or your version of it." I realized then that he didn't want answers. He wanted control of the narrative, and he had it. People trusted him because he sounded calm while I sounded tired. "Maybe you should step back," he continued. "Give her space." "I already have," I said. "More," he replied. "Disappear, if you can." He said it politely. That made it worse. When I told her about the conversation, she didn't react the way I expected. "He's just trying to help," she said, by erasing me. She sighed. "Why are you making this harder?" That question broke something in me. Harder for who? For her, who never had to explain herself. For him, who got praise for defending her. Or for me, who was slowly being rewritten into a monster. I stopped messaging. I stopped explaining. I watched from a distance as my absence was used as proof. "See," they said. He vanished. Guilty people do that. The irony burned. When I stayed, I was controlling. When I left, I was dangerous. One night, a mutual friend finally told me the truth. "She cries a lot," he said. "Says you pressured her, that she felt trapped." I laughed. It came out wrong, sharp, almost hysterical. "Did she mention the nights I begged her to talk?" I asked. "The times I asked her to leave if she was unhappy." He didn't answer. That's when I understood the real betrayal wasn't the lies. It was how easily they were accepted. I went home and opened the folder on my phone. Messages. Voice notes. Apologies she sent and later denied. Evidence I never wanted to need. I didn't feel angry anymore. I felt awake. If I stayed quiet, I would be destroyed politely. If I spoke, I would be destroyed loudly. For the first time, I stopped caring which one hurt less. I picked up my phone and typed a single message, then deleted it. Not yet. But soon. Chapter 3. When truth becomes a weapon. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw messages rearranging themselves into new meanings. My own words turned sharp in someone else's mouth. By morning, I knew one thing clearly. Silence was no longer dignity. It was surrender. She texted me first. "People are worried about you." I stared at the screen. Worried. Not sorry. Not confused. Worried. Like I was a fire hazard. I typed back. About what? 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. "You seem angry." I laughed out loud in my empty room. "Of course I'm angry," I said to no one. "You lit the match," I replied. "I'm angry because I'm being blamed for things I didn't do." Her response came fast this time. "I never blamed you. You're doing it yourself." There it was again. The gentle denial. The clean hands, I called her. She didn't answer. I called again, straight to voicemail. A minute later, he texted me. Please stop contacting her. You're overwhelming her. Overwhelming. That word followed me everywhere now, like I was too loud just by existing. I wrote back, tell her to stop lying. He didn't reply. Instead, screenshots started circulating. Messages I sent late, at night, stripped of context. My questions looked like accusations. My confusion looked like obsession. No one shared her messages. No one shared the apology she sent me and later erased. By noon, I was officially the villain. A friend messaged me privately. I don't want to take sides, but maybe you should explain yourself. Explain what? That I trusted the wrong people. That I loved someone who learned how to cry on cue. I invited 3 people I trusted to meet me that evening. If I was going to speak, I would do it face to face. They arrived cautious, concerned, already leaning away from me. She didn't feel safe. One of them said gently, "With what?" I asked. My words, my silence, my breathing. She said you pressured her emotionally. Another added. I pulled out my phone and placed it on the table. Then listen to this. I played the voice note, her voice, soft, clear. "I'm sorry I hurt you. I know I was wrong. Please don't leave me." Silence filled the room. One of them swallowed. Why didn't she mention this? Because it ruins the story, I said. They looked at each other, uncomfortable now. Doubt flickered, but not enough. Doubt is weak when people already chose who to believe. She said those things because she felt scared. Someone finally said. That's when I snapped. So every time she's wrong, she was scared. And every time I defend myself, I'm dangerous. My voice shook. Do you hear how insane that sounds? No one answered. I realized then that proof didn't matter. Feelings had already won, and hers were prettier. That night, I posted for the first time. Not accusations, just facts, dates, screenshots, her own words. I didn't add commentary. I didn't explain. I let the truth stand alone. Within minutes, the backlash came. Why would you expose her? This is cruel. You're proving her point. But mixed in were other messages, quiet ones. She did this to me too. I thought I was alone. Thank you for saying something. My hands trembled as I read them. Not from fear, but from clarity. He called me. Furious. You had no right, he said. I had every right. I replied. You just didn't think I'd use it. You're destroying her. He snapped. No. I said calmly. I stopped. Protecting her. There was a long pause. Then his voice dropped. You know people won't forgive this. I'm not asking them to. I said. I'm asking them to stop lying about me. When the call ended, I felt something unfamiliar. Settle in my chest. Peace. Not the soft kind. The dangerous kind. The kind you get when you finally accept the cost of telling the truth and decide to pay it anyway. I looked at my phone one last time before turning it face down. If being honest made me the villain, then fine. I would be a villain who survived. Chapter 4. The cost of being right. The morning after I posted the truth, my phone felt heavier than usual, like it knew what it carried now. I didn't check it right away. I brushed my teeth, stared at my reflection, and said, You asked for this. My voice sounded steady, but my hands weren't. When I finally unlocked my phone, the screen exploded. Missed calls, messages, tags, mentions. Some people were angry. Some were confused. Some were suddenly kind in a careful, guilty way. The first call I answered was from my sister. Are you okay? She asked. I don't know yet, I said honestly. She exhaled. People are talking. I know. Some of them are finally seeing it, she added. But others think you went too far. I leaned against the wall. I didn't go far. I stopped hiding. She was quiet for a moment. That's usually when people get scared. I hung up and opened the message she sent me next. Screenshots. Someone had reposted my post with captions twisted just enough to make it look cruel. He's enjoying this. He waited for the perfect moment to hurt her. I whispered, no, not because they could hear me, but because I needed to hear it myself. I wasn't enjoying this. I was exhausted. By noon, she messaged me. Why are you doing this to me? I stared at the words for a long time. My thumbs hovered over the keyboard. Why are you doing this to me? Not what I did was wrong. Not I'm sorry. I replied, not doing anything to you. I'm telling the truth. Her response came immediately. You know I'm fragile. You know how this affects me. There it was again. Fragile. Like glass. Like accountability would shatter her. I typed, deleted, typed again. You were strong enough to lie. You're strong enough to face the truth. She didn't reply. Instead, someone else did. A mutual friend called me, voice tight. You need to take the post down. Why? I asked. She's not eating. She's crying nonstop. This is getting dangerous. I laughed. Sharp and bitter. So was lying about me. That's not the same. He snapped. It is when I'm the one bleeding. I shot back. You're being heartless. I lowered my voice. No, I'm being done. He hung up. The word heartless followed me all day. People loved it. It made things simple. Monsters don't need explanations. By evening, he showed up at my door. I opened it and didn't step aside. You look awful, he said. So do you? I replied. He walked in anyway. You won. Are you happy now? I didn't compete, I said. I survived. She trusted you. He said sharply. I crossed my arms. She used me. You expose her private words. She exposed my character, I said, everywhere. For weeks, he clenched his jaw. You could have handled this quietly. I met his eyes. I tried. You ignored me. Silence stretched between us. She didn't mean for it to go this far, he said finally. I laughed softly. That's what everyone says after the damage is done. He looked away. People won't forget this. I hope they don't, I said, because I won't forget what it felt like to be erased. He stepped closer. If you delete the post, maybe we can fix this. Fix, that word again. Like things could go back. No, I said. His eyes hardened. Then don't expect mercy. I smiled tiredly. I stopped expecting mercy the day you believed her over me. When he left, the apartment felt colder, quieter, but also cleaner, like something rotten had finally been thrown out that night. I read every message. The hateful ones hurt, but the quiet ones stayed with me. I was painted as the villain. 2. Thank you for showing it's possible to fight back. I wish I had your courage. I didn't feel brave. I felt exposed, raw. But I also felt real. She never apologized. Not publicly. Not privately. Instead, she posted a long note about healing, about learning, about boundaries. She didn't name me, but everyone knew. Comments flooded in with hearts. And sympathy. I closed the app. For the first time, I understood something clearly. Justice doesn't always look fair in the moment. Sometimes it looks lonely. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, and whispered, I choose myself. The words didn't fix everything, but they stayed. And for now, that was enough. Chapter 5. When silence stops protecting you. The next morning, the silence felt different. Not empty. Watchful. I woke up to a notification from my office group chat. Someone had added a new rule overnight. Please avoid discussing personal matters. At work, I laughed once, quietly. Personal matters. Like my name hadn't been dragged through hallways for weeks before I spoke up. At work, people avoided my eyes. Some nodded too fast. Some smiled like they were apologizing without words. In the break room, Maya poured coffee beside me. You're brave, she said softly. I didn't look at her. I'm tired. She hesitated. That counts too. Before I could answer, my manager called my name. Can we talk? His office door closed behind us. He folded his hands. The situation, It's causing tension. I didn't start it. I said, I know. He replied carefully. But your response made it public. I leaned forward. It was already public. I just didn't control the story before. He sighed. Some people think you went nuclear. I went honest. He didn't argue. I'm asking you to keep your head down for a while. I nodded. I've been doing that my whole life. That afternoon, she finally called. I stared at her name until the phone stopped vibrating. Then it rang again. I answered. What do you want? I asked. Her voice cracked instantly. Why do you hate me? I closed my eyes. I don't hate you. Then why would you do this? She cried. I told the truth. You knew people would attack me. I knew people would finally stop attacking me. I said. She sniffed. You always have to be right. I laughed. Hollow. I had to be believed. There was silence. Then she said, I never thought you'd go this far. I lowered my voice. I never thought you'd lie about me. She whispered. You're ruining everything. I replied, no. I'm refusing to carry it alone. Her breathing got sharp. You think you're some hero now? No. I said, I think I'm done being your shield. She hung up. That night, he messaged me. We need to talk. Face to face. I replied, say it here. Disappeared, appeared again. She's not okay. I stared at the screen. Neither was I. You could still fix this. I typed slowly. Fixing it means lying again. He didn't reply. The next day, a post went up from someone I didn't know well. Sometimes people hide cruelty behind truth. Comments poured in. Guesswork. Half stories. My name wasn't mentioned, but it didn't have to be at lunch. I sat alone until someone slid into the chair across from me. You don't know me, she said. But she did this to my brother too. I looked up. What? He stayed quiet. Lost friends. Lost confidence. She paused. Thank you for not staying quiet. My throat tightened. I didn't know. No one ever does. She said, gently. That's how it works. When I got home, my mother called. You look thinner. She said on video, I am. She studied my face. Do you regret it? I thought of the lies, the nights I couldn't sleep, the way my name felt wrong in my own mouth. No, I said. She nodded slowly. Then don't apologize. Later, I found an old message thread between her and him. I hadn't opened it before. I read it now. He won't say anything. He never does. My hands shook, not from anger but clarity. They had counted on my silence, built their safety on it. I sent him one message. You didn't try to save her. You tried to save yourselves. He replied after a long time. You're not who I thought you were. I smiled sadly. Neither are you. That night, I blocked both of them. The silence afterward wasn't empty. It was mine. Chapter 6. Power shifts quietly. Blocking them didn't feel dramatic. It felt like closing a door after a long draft. The next morning, I woke up without the tight pressure in my chest. It didn't mean I was healed. It meant I finally had space to breathe. At work, things changed, not loudly, subtly. People who once whispered stopped. People who avoided me now nodded with something like respect. Not everyone believed me, but enough did. During lunch, my manager sat across from me for the first time since everything exploded. You handling things okay? He asked. I'm functioning, I said. He nodded. HR reviewed everything. I raised an eyebrow. And they found inconsistencies in her. Complaints, he said carefully. Enough to close the matter. I let out a slow breath. Thank you. He paused. You didn't exaggerate. That mattered. After he left, my hands trembled, not from fear this time, but relief. Quiet, earned relief. That evening, Maya texted me. You won't believe this. Try me. She deleted half her posts. I stared at the screen. Then another message came. And he's gone silent. No comments, no defenses. I typed, silence looks different when you're the one inside it. At the gym later, A guy I barely knew stopped me. "Hey," he said awkwardly. "I judge you?" I was wrong. I nodded once. "Thanks for saying it." He hesitated. "She told a different story back then." "I know," I said. "The night my sister came over." "You look lighter," she said. "I feel heavier in a better way," I replied. She smiled. "That's growth." We sat on the floor, backs against the couch. She messaged me. "My sister said suddenly." I turned. "What?" She asked if I could talk to you. Said she misses you. I shook my head. "She misses control." My sister. Didn't argue. Later, curiosity got the better of me. I checked from a friend's phone. Her page was still there but quieter. Fewer likes. Comments turned cautious. Someone had written, "Did you ever apologize?" No response. Another comment. "Why does every story you tell have a villain?" I closed the app. The power shift wasn't loud revenge. It was exposure. People saw patterns once they weren't distracted by emotion. 2 days later, he emailed me from a work account. "I didn't think you'd survive this." I read it twice. I replied with one line. "I didn't think you'd admit that." He didn't answer. That weekend, I met the woman from work, the one whose brother had gone through something similar. Over coffee. She said, "They hate when silence breaks." I didn't break it to punish them. I said, "I broke it to save myself." She nodded. That's why it worked. On Sunday night, I wrote in my journal for the first time in months. "I'm not the villain. I'm just no longer convenient." I slept better than I had in weeks. The next morning, news spread fast. She had posted another long message. This one softer, less dramatic. She talked about miscommunication, about both sides. But people weren't buying it anymore. Someone commented, "Growth starts with accountability." The comment stayed unanswered. I didn't feel joy reading it, just closure taking shape. That afternoon, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I didn't answer. A voicemail followed. "I know you blocked me," her voice said, thin and controlled. "I just want to explain." I deleted it without listening again. Explanation was just another word for control. That night, I stood by my window and realized something simple and terrifying. I didn't need them to regret it. I didn't need an apology. I had already won back the only thing that mattered. My voice. Chapter 7. Regret sounds different when it's too late. The call came 3 days later. I almost ignored it. Almost. But something told me this wasn't about pulling me back anymore. This was about gravity catching up. "Hello," I said. Her voice was quieter than I remembered. Not fragile, just small. "I know you don't want to hear from me," she said, "but I need you to know something." I didn't respond. She swallowed. "Everything's falling apart." I leaned against the wall. "That's not my responsibility." "I know," she said quickly. "I'm not asking you to fix it." Silence stretched between us. "The kind that used to scare me. I lost people," she continued. "Friends, opportunities. They keep asking questions I don't have answers for." I closed my eyes. "You had answers. You just didn't like them." She let out a shaky breath. He left. That landed harder than I expected. He said I crossed a line. She whispered, said he couldn't protect me anymore. I laughed once, softly. "So that's what this is?" "No," she said. "It's regret." I thought of all the nights I begged to be believed. Regret would have sounded like sorry. She went quiet. "I didn't think you'd walk away," she said finally. "You always stayed." I stayed. "Because I didn't know I could leave." I replied. Another pause. "I was scared you'd expose me. I was scared I'd disappear." I said. She started crying then. Real crying. No performance. No audience. "I don't recognize myself," she said. I spoke calmly. "That's what happens when mirrors stop lying." She whispered my name. I didn't answer. "I wish you told me earlier how much I hurt you." I did. I said. "You just heard control instead of pain." She sobbed harder. "Can we ever?" "No," I said gently. The word felt heavy, clean. "I don't hate you," I added, But I won't be close to you again. She sniffed. You sound different. I said. I learned the cost of being silent. The call ended without goodbye. That evening, my sister texted me. She's spiraling. I replied. I hope she finds help. Nothing more. At work the next day, someone stopped me in the hallway. You okay? They asked. I nodded. Better than before. It was true. Later, Maya handed me a sticky note. Proud of you. I stuck it on my monitor. That night, I ran into him by accident outside a cafe. No warning, no buffer. He froze when he saw me. You look fine, he said. I replied. He shifted awkwardly. I didn't think you'd bounce back. I smiled slightly. You underestimated how tired I was. He hesitated. She's not doing well. I know, I said. You don't feel anything. I met his eyes. I feel free, his face tightened. I tried to help her. You tried to manage her, I corrected. There's a difference. He looked away. I lost her because of this, I shrugged. You lost her because of choices. He exhaled sharply. You really don't care anymore. I thought about it. I care enough not to lie. That night, I packed away old photos. Not dramatically, just gently. I didn't burn them. I didn't cry. I thanked the past for what it taught me and put it in a box. Before sleeping, I wrote one last thing in my journal. Regret knocks softly. Growth doesn't knock at all, it stays. I turned off the light. Tomorrow was coming. And for once, it felt like mine. Asterisk Chapter 8 Silence Reclaimed. Justice served asterisk. The morning light didn't feel heavy. It felt sharp, clear, like truth slicing through fog. I didn't wake to anxiety this time. I woke to decisions already made. The past weeks had stripped me bare, but they also left me standing steady, unafraid. My phone buzzed immediately. A notification. Her name. I didn't hesitate. I didn't answer. I didn't need to. She had sent a long message. I read it from my notification screen. I can't believe you would do this. Everyone is against me. Why? I smiled faintly. Not cruelty, just clarity. Everyone is against you? No. You built the walls and expected me to fit inside. I placed the phone face down. Let it sit. The echo of her panic wasn't mine to carry anymore. By noon, he called. The man who tried to rescue her. You need to answer me, he said, voice tense. She's panicking. I leaned back against the chair, calm now. Panicking because she's exposed, the same way I was when she lied about me. His voice faltered. She said a lot of things. I cut in. But actions speak louder than words. And actions are done. Silence, then desperation. You don't understand if you undo this. I laughed softly. Undo? No. I just stopped being your shield. He swallowed. I could hear it. You've ruined her reputation. I've shown the truth. I said. She built a narrative. I didn't have to ruin it. I just opened the doors. There was no more arguing. He knew it. His tone softened, quiet as a confession. I underestimated you. We both did. Too late, I said. You're both learning the hard way. The call ended, and I felt a weight lift like a room had been cleared of smoke. By evening, messages poured in, from strangers, acquaintances, friends I hadn't spoken to in years. I can't believe she lied. You did the right thing. I wish I'd had your courage. Each message reminded me. Power shifts quietly. Karma doesn't shout. It waits for patience and clarity. Later, she called from a blocked number. I didn't pick up. A voicemail followed. Please, I just need you to know I'm sorry. I never wanted this. I deleted it immediately. The apology didn't matter. The damage had been done by choices, not words. That night, I stood by the window and watched the city lights flicker somewhere. She was realizing she couldn't manipulate the story anymore. Somewhere, he was realizing he couldn't rescue what was never his to save. And I finally realized I didn't need them. I never had. I wrote in my journal, the villain in their story was never me. The truth was just inconvenient. I survived because I spoke it, not because they understood it. Weeks later, I ran into Maya again. "You're glowing," she said softly. I laughed. "It's just relief. You deserve more than relief." She said, "You deserve peace." I nodded. I'm starting to get it. That night, I packed away everything she had ever touched in my life. Not angrily, not with fire, quietly, deliberately. The box sat in the corner of my room, a reminder of what was lost, but more importantly, a symbol of what I saved, myself. A knock on the door startled me. It was my sister. "You look free," she said. "I am," I said simply. She smiled. "Good. You've earned it." For the first time, the past week's chaos didn't weigh me down. Instead, it felt like armor forged in fire. I didn't need apologies. I didn't need forgiveness. I didn't need validation. I only needed my own voice, and now it was finally mine. Before sleeping, I whispered to the dark, "Let them regret what they did. Let me move forward. Silence is mine again." And for the first time in months, I slept without fear, without tension, without anyone's story overriding my own. Justice had been served, not loudly, not publicly, but perfectly, in the quiet reclamation of my life. I closed my eyes. Tomorrow was mine, and this time, I would speak only for myself.